so I'm full of shit. And I tell myself that that's okay because okay, there's no excuse for being full of shit, but maybe the things that you say you can do every once in a while, one time in 20, one time in 30, maybe one time in 100, you can actually pull off. So here's a story like that, where I didn't pull it off. About, well, okay, it's college. It's a ski trip. In college, I love skiing, and my roommate Matt and I would go skiing whenever we could. We went to college at the University of Florida, and so it was a way to the nearest ski mountain. Boone, North Carolina was the closest that we found. So a 12-hour drive from Gainesville, Florida to Boone, North Carolina meant a lot of gas money for people who were pretty much dirt broke the whole time that we were undergraduates. So we had to work out little ways that we would pay for these trips. And this time that I'm in particular recalling, the idea was that we wouldn't get a hotel. I drove a dirty old ratty old pickup truck with a topper on the back. You can imagine how sexy it was. And I figured we could sleep in the truck. But the idea, really, the ruling plan for the weekend was, Matt, I tell you, I'm going to find us a place to stay. I'm going to seduce some snow bunnies, and we will stay with them. Plan for the weekend. Worst case scenario, we have to sleep in the back of a ratty old pickup truck, but with a topper, so I mean, we'll freeze to death slowly. But, like I said, 12-hour drive, so we set out about 8 p.m. from Gainesville, Florida, drive through the night, and get to Sugar Mountain. Do you know Sugar Mountain? Nobody's cheering. Because skiing in North Carolina was already pretty crappy. I mean, it's not like we were going to go to Colorado. Anyway, we get there at 8 a.m. and we snowboard all day. And we are sexy on the slopes. But I'm not really managing that number one. What's the number one priority, Daniel? It's pick up the snow bunnies and find us a place to stay. What I should tell you, starting out, really, I should have mentioned that I'm a shy man. I took on this, ridiculously, I took on this task as if I were bold, as if I were a playa. And I'm not. I was the shy kid in high school who stuttered if he tried to talk in front of more than about 7 people at a time. Notice the beer, in case you're skeptical about all this. But I can fake it. And so I did my damn best. But you're picturing this, and we're skiing, and we're on snowy slopes and going down. And when are you actually going to talk to snow bunnies and try to manage this, like sealing this deal, which involves not just sexual congress, which would have been wonderful for the virginal undergrad that I was, but was actually secondary to the main goal of finding us a place to sleep. There aren't many opportunities. I faked a few injuries. I spent some time in the lodge by the fire going, oh, it hurts. Talking to, I don't know, the bartender guy, or, I mean, there were no, I came close. I think there was a momentary almost success when I met these twins. Oh God, doesn't that sound like a good story? I wish I were telling that story. These twins, as it turns out, were probably about 16, which, you know, being only 3 years older, I shouldn't be too skeeved out by that. I married somebody 7 years younger, but 16, 18, and 19, it's college, high school. Anyway, it was gross. And so I failed. I'm so sad to say that that's impossible. There's no way that it's 4 minutes. Anyway. So we adjourned to the only place that we could afford to eat for the night, which is Taco Bell. Now, don't make fun. Best job I ever had was Taco Bell. And I'm apologizing to Matt profusely for being so bad at faking the boldness that it takes to land the snow bunnies. To land the snow bunnies. Do I really talk like this? And so we leave the Taco Bell eventually because they kick us out. It's so warm in there. It's so warm. It's so cold in Boone, North Carolina. I know that we're going to die that evening. But we get in the truck and we drive across the street to a parking lot where we can park and climb into the back and try to keep each other warm, which is creepy thinking back on it. But on the way into the parking lot, my friend Matt has a bold stroke of an idea and waves to a car full of people that he sees pulling out of the same Taco Bell. They join us here, preparing to ring the bell. they pull up next to us in the parking lot, and we say, hey, we're not from around here. What is there to do in a town like this? These bold young undergrads from Appalachian State University tell us, well, there's nothing to do. We're just going to go drink. Come with us. And so we adjourn to their house for some drinking games, and it's hours before of course Matt realizes sooner, it's hours before I realize that they're trying to get me in the sack. Because, well, I mean, Appalachian State, pretty large gay population. They assumed from our manner of dress that we were. Anyway, it was a wonderful night. I might have ended up faking it a little bit for them, just to land those guys. In the morning, still awake, we hit the slopes and ski our brains out to drive back through the night again to Gainesville. And I don't remember ever